Is flying something I have always wanted to do? Have I ever seen anything up there that I cannot explain? And do I remember my first flight? I like these questions. They seem to have arrived entirely intact from a time before flying became ordinary and routine. They suggest that even now, when many of us so regularly leave one place on the earth and cross the high blue to another, we are not nearly as accustomed to flying as we think. These questions remind me that while aeroplanes have overturned many of our older sensibilities, a deeper part of our imagination lingers and still sparks in the former realm, among ancient, even atavistic ideas of distance and place, migrations and the sky. Flight, like any great love, is both a liberation and a return. Isak Dinesen wrote in Out of Africa, "In the air, you are taken into the full freedom of the three dimensions. After long ages of exile and dreams, the homesick heart throws itself into the arms of space." When aviation began, it was worth watching for its own sake. It was entertainment, as it still is for many children on their early encounters with it. Many of my friends who are pilots describe aeroplanes as the first thing they loved about the world. When I was a child, I used to assemble model aeroplanes and hang them in my bedroom, under a ceiling scattered with glow-in-the-dark stars, until the day skies were hardly less busy than Heathrow's, and at night the outlines of the dark jet crossed against the indoor constellations. I looked forward to each of my family's occasional airplane trips, with an enthusiasm that rarely had much to do with wherever we were going. I spent most of my time at Disney World, awaiting the moment we would board again the magical vessel that had brought us there. At school, nearly all my science projects were variations on an aerial theme. I made a hot air balloon from paper and sanded wings of balsa wood that jumped excitedly in the slipstream from a hairdryer, as simply as if it was not air but electricity that had been made to flow across them. The first phone call I ever received from someone other than a friend or relative came when I was 13. My mom passed me the telephone with a smile, telling me that a vice president from Boeing had asked to speak with me. He had received my letter requesting a videotape of a 747 in flight to show as part of a science project about that aeroplane. He was happy to help. He wished only to know whether I wanted my 747 to fly in VHS or Betamax format. I am the only pilot in my family, but all the same, I feel that imaginatively, at least, aeroplanes and flying were never far from home. My father was completely enthralled by aeroplanes, the result of his front row seat on the portion of the Second World War that took place in the skies above his childhood home in West Flanders. He learned the shapes of the aircraft and the sounds of their engines. "The thousands of planes in the sky were too much competition for my school books," he later wrote. In the 1950s, he left Belgium to work as a missionary in the Belgian Congo, where he first flew in a small aeroplane. Then he sailed to Brazil, where in the 1960s, he was one of surely not very many priests with a subscription to Aviation Week magazine. Finally, he flew to America, where he met my mother, went to business school, and worked as a manager in mental health services. Aeroplanes fill his old notes and slides. My mother, born under the quieter skies of rural Pennsylvania, worked as a speech therapist and had no particular interest in aviation. Yet I feel she was the one who best understood my attachment to the less tangible joys of flight, the old romance of all journeys, which she gave to me and my brother in the form of stories like Stuart Little and The Hobbit, but also a sense of what we see from above or far away, the gift, the destination that flying makes not of a distant place, but of our home. Her favorite